Hello everyone. Now we will start a new lecture under the module of Sports Psychology, and the title of the lecture is Fueling Excellence, Motivation Strategies for Sustainable Performance in Elite Sports. My name is Dr. Ankur Shukla and I will be conducting this lecture today. First, we will get a brief overview of lecture topics. We will be starting with introduction, in which we will be exploring the essence of motivation as the driving force behind athletic excellence and sustained performance. Then we will be diving into the definition of motivation, understanding motivation as the internal and external forces that inspire athletes to push their limits and strive for greatness. Then we will look into the strategies that will help us to enhance motivation, proven techniques to cultivate and sustain motivation, ensuring consistent growth and resilience in sports. Then, under the heading of strategies, we will be looking into the power of goal setting, establishing clear, achievable objectives that provide direction, purpose, and a sense of accomplishment. Then we will be shifting to goal orientation, in which we will be shaping an athlete's mindset towards mastery, self-improvement and long-term success over mere competition. Then we will be continuing the topic with reinforcement and feedback, utilizing constructive feedback and positive reinforcement to build confidence, refine skills and strengthen motivation. And we will be concluding the lecture with intrinsic motivation, that is fostering a deep love for the sport where passion, self-determination and the joy of progress becomes the primary motivators. In the end of the lecture, we will summarize the whole lecture and then it will be followed by MCQs. Let's start the topic with introduction. This quotation, that is great leaders ignite motivation, turning potential into excellence, has a great value when we try to study motivation, because in the later part of this quotation, the real meaning of motivation comes out when the author says that turning potential into excellence. Motivation basically does this work for an athlete. Every athlete has different type of potential in him, but the excellence that comes for an athlete in the sports they are playing, it comes from the motivation that is behind the sports. Why he has chosen this sport, why he wants to play this sport. That motivation will turn the potential into excellence. Research has revealed that motivation can influence the selection of an activity, continuing involvement, that is persistence, effort in practice and competition, and quality of performance. Now we will be defining motivation. Motivation is the direction and intensity of one's effort, determining both the choice of actions and the level of energy put into them. When we talk about direction of effort, it refers to seeking out or approaching certain activities. Like example, an athlete joining a sports club, a coach attending a workshop, or an injured player seeking treatment. This is the direction of the effort they are putting. Then comes the intensity of the effort. It indicates how much effort is exerted in a chosen activity. For example, an athlete attending practice but not putting in full effort versus an athlete who trains intensely. There is an interconnection of direction and intensity. One athlete who is having only direction cannot succeed, and one athlete who has only intensity can also not succeed. We will have an interconnection of direction and intensity. While they can be considered separately, they are often linked. A highly committed player who arrives early to practice usually puts in maximum effort, whereas an inconsistent attendee must not be fully engaged. The science and art of motivation. Understanding motivation requires both individual and situational factors. When we talk about the individual factors, it is the personal attributes of an athlete, like personality of the athlete, needs of the athlete, goals and interest points. And when we talk about the external influences, then we talk about coaching style, team success, community support, tradition, etc. There has to be an interaction between the individual aspect and the situational aspect. Motivation strategies must account for how personal and environmental factors interact to influence an athlete's drive and performance. There has to be different approaches that work for different people. As you may have heard a quotation from Hippocrates that one man's meat is another man's poison. It reflects that for deeply understanding the psychological aspect of motivation of an athlete, we have to look at the individual aspect of athlete rather than a group. While positive reinforcement may generally be effective, punishment might work better for certain competitive athletes in high pressure moments. Coaching and teaching is both a science and an art. Science identifies general principles, while the art of coaching involves applying the right method to the right individual at the right time. Now, we will delve into the strategies to enhance motivation. And the first topic in this is goal setting. Goal setting is getting much recognition in industry and as well as sports. It consistently shows that setting goals significantly improve task performance, making it a key psychological strategy for success. Effective goal setting is a key. Simply setting goals is not enough. Choosing the right type of goal is crucial to maximize the impact of the performance. When we define what are the types of goals, then there are three types of goals. First is the outcome goal, then comes the performance goal, and finally process goal. When we talk about the outcome goal, it focuses on results like winning a tournament or finishing first in a race. When we talk about performance goal, it focuses on personal achievement such as improving a race time or shooting percentage. And when we finally talk about the process goal, it focuses on techniques and strategies that lead to better performance like improving form or timing. There are certain challenges which one has to overcome when he thinks of outcome goals only. Because thinking on outcome goal overemphasizes on winning can increase pressure and anxiety in an athlete. Outcome goals are not fully controllable because there are certain external factors that are with it, like stronger opponent. It can influence the result. No matter how much motivation you have, how much goal setting you do, if your opponent is one step ahead of you, then the outcome can be changed. And hence, if you are going with the goal setting that I have to win a tournament, then it can hamper you, it can get you into stress, it can produce anxiety in you. Emphasizing performance and process goal. We should tell the athletes to emphasize on performance and process goals. Performance goals are more controllable, focusing on individual improvement. Process goals help refine technique and consistency, forming the foundation for success. And if we interconnect all the three, then achieving process and performance goals increases the likelihood of reaching outcome goals naturally. 4 primary reasons why goal work are: first, goal direct attention to important elements of the skill being performed. For example, research with athlete has confirmed that the primary reason performers set goal is to provide direction and focus to their action. If I am in a particular sport and I want to excel in that sports, then I must have a direction, I must focus on that direction, and that is the primary aspect of getting that success. Second important point is goal mobilize performers' effort. Athletes often get discouraged in their attempt to reach certain levels of performance due to obstacles such as an injury. Setting a series of short-term goals, for example, helps athlete put forth effort to reach these goals. The third point is goals prolong performers' persistence. Following up on the increased effort noted earlier, goals help performer persist over time as they strive to reach their goals. For example, a person who wants to lose 20 kg might be easily discouraged as this seems like a lot of weight, and it is, and a very daunting task too. But If one can break that down into losing 1 kg in a week, it seems more manageable, and motivation and persistence can remain high for a long period of time. Then comes the final reason. Goals foster the development of new learning strategies. For example, if the basketball player goal is to increase the free throw percentage from 70 to 80%, then she might refine her pre-shot routine, change the biomechanics of a shot, or practice more shot even when she feels tired. These new learning strategies can serve as action plans to help achieve goals. Now, one of the most important criteria for goal setting is the SMARTS criteria. We will understand the SMARTS criteria with an example. A sprinter's goal. The goal is to improve 100 meter sprint time from 11.5 seconds to 11 seconds within 3 months by following a structured training plan. Now, according to the SMARTS criteria, the first aspect is to be specific with the goal. The goal clearly states when the athletes want to achieve improving sprint time by 0.5 seconds. So, the specificity is there. I have to increase the time by 0.5 seconds. Now comes the second aspect, that is measurable. The progress is trackable using a stopwatch, allowing for performance evaluation over time. The athlete can take a stopwatch and see how he is or how she is progressing with that goal. It is measurable. Then comes the action-oriented aspect. The athlete commits to specific actions such as sprint drills, strength training and technique refinement. That what is necessary to achieve that goal. Then comes the realistic aspect. A 0.5 second improvement in 3 months is challenging but achievable with consistent training and effort. It should not be unrealistic in nature, because if that cannot be achieved, then the criteria is of no use. Then comes the timely aspect. A clear 3-month deadline keeps the athlete accountable and motivated. If there is no deadline, then the motivation will die. So we have to have a deadline. Then comes the final part, that is self-determined. The athlete sets this goal based on personal ambition and commitment, ensuring intrinsic motivation. Now we'll go to the next subpart, that is goal orientation. Success and failures are subjective in nature. They are not just concrete outcomes, but depends on athletes' personal perception of whether they have met their goals or not. Goal orientation shapes perception. Athletes define success and failure differently, influencing how they evaluate their performance. Impact on confidence and motivation will be an athlete's perception of success or failure directly affect their confidence, interest, effort and persistence in their sport. Understanding the goal orientation will eventually help the coach and trainers tailor motivation strategies to sustain engagement and long-term improvement. There are two predominant goal orientations in athletes. The first one being task-oriented, that is mastery athletes, and the second one is ego-oriented, that is competitive athletes. The first one, that is task-oriented, focuses on personal development, improving skills, mastering techniques, increasing tactical awareness and learning from experience. While the second one, that is ego-centered, will define success by comparison with others, aiming to outperform opponents, often valuing victory over personal growth. The implication for motivation in task-oriented athlete will show positive trait. They exhibit higher persistence, intrinsic motivation will be higher, personal responsibility will be higher, enjoyment will be more, and reduced anxiety levels, and leading to a sustainable success in performance. But when we come to ego-oriented athletes, they will be facing many challenges, like their motivation depends on external comparisons, which can lead to anxiety, reduced effort when outmatched, or reliance on minimal effort to appear superior. Independence and balance of orientation is very important. Task and ego orientations are independent in nature. Athletes can be high on both, can be low on both, can be high on one or low on one, influencing their overall motivation and approach to competition. But for the optimal performance, there is a balance that is required. Most Olympic athletes are high in both orientation, competing hard while also striving for self-improvement. The key is balancing winning with mastery for long-term success. We will learn about competitive performance mindset approach, which is related to the goal orientation strategy. We'll learn it through an example. The athlete has to prepare an achievement log. Say the name of the athlete is Jordan Lewis. He plays basketball. He is competing for the regional finals, and the personal goal is improve shooting accuracy and on-court decision making. So the self-challenge, that is the task-oriented reflection, would be, where did I show the most improvement in my game? When did I work the hardest? What was the most fun aspect about my sports? And under what condition did I perform best? The answers to these will set the self-challenge, that is task-oriented goal orientation for him. Next comes the game challenge, that is the ego-oriented reflection. And in this, the questions will be like, when I was superior to my opponent? When was I able to do things others weren't able to do? What conditions led me to beat others? By integrating insights from both the self-challenge and game challenge perspectives, athletes cultivate a mindset that fosters continuous growth and peak performance in competitive sports. When we are learning about goal setting and goal orientation and learning about the process in it, we have to look at this aspect, that there is a balance that is required. There is no black and white. There is a gray area where we have to balance it. Both sides have to be balanced, and then the success will come. Reinforcement and feedback. There is an operant conditioning and behavioral influence. Behavior is shaped by consequences. Reinforcement, that may be in positive or maybe in negative nature, influences an athlete's future actions. Positive consequences increase repetition, while negative consequences reduce the likelihood of repeating a behavior. When we look at positive and negative reinforcement in coaching, the positive reinforcement will encourage desired behaviors through rewards. Example, an athlete is being praised by his coaches. He is being recognized by the coaches. He has more playing time because of the positive reinforcement he is getting. Example, a basketball player receiving praise for full effort is more likely to continue working hard than one who is not getting that positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement discourages an undesirable behavior through corrective measures. Example, criticism, extra drills. When a player being reprimanded for slacking is less likely to repeat the behavior than one who is not. Complexity and athlete response to feedback comes when different athletes respond differently. Some thrive under positive feedback, while others perform better after negative feedback. Punishment can sometimes act as motivation, making athletes work harder instead of discouraging them. Not all reinforced behaviors are easily replicated, as situational and psychological factors may interfere. The implications for coaching and motivation will be, adaptive coaching is required. That is, understanding each athlete's psychology helps in tailoring feedback for maximum impact. As we have seen in the previous lectures also, that there is an example of Michael Jordan, that he gets motivation from certain aspects that other players may not get that motivation from that aspect. There are players who get motivation from positive reinforcement only, and there are players who have to go through a series or cycle of negative reinforcement just to be in a better shape. So it has to be tailored according to the athlete we are dealing with. It has to be an individualistic approach towards it. Now, balanced use of reinforcement ensures motivation without discouragement, leading to optimal performance and mental resilience. The positive approach and its benefit. Now we will look into the positive approach, the positive reinforcement, the positive feedback. It emphasizes encouragement and instruction to strengthen desired behavior. It creates a supportive environment for the athlete that enhances learning and performance. It minimizes punishment, using it only occasionally to increase its impact. The one thing that I have learned is that when punishment is used in a directed manner, in limited manner and intermittently, it can act in the best manner. fosters motivation, confidence and positive coach-athlete relationship. Types of reinforcers in coaching. What are the types that generally we can see in coaching? First is social reinforcer. It can be a verbal praise, it can be applause, it can be smiles, it can be non-verbal encouragement. Then there are physical reinforcers, that is pat on the back, high five, team huddles, etc. Then come the activity-based reinforcers. These can be extra practice time, leading a drill, special roles. Material reward, example medals, trophies, certificates or new equipment. You all must have seen recently in India matches in cricket, there is one coach, that is the fielding coach, Dilip, and he distributes fielding medals after the match. What this process has done is that it has increased the level of fielding in Indian cricket. And now the players strive for that medal and improve themselves. There is a healthy competition between them. And what impact it is creating? It is increasing the overall fielding capabilities of Indian team in cricket. So this is also a type of reinforcer that we are learning. Variety is key. We must know that there has to be a variety of positive reinforcement. Clapping always will not help. Just patting the back always will not help. And it will not help in one individual, can help in the other also. So individualistic approach and variety, these are the key aspects. Combining verbal reinforcement with instructions improves skill development. For example, nice shot, I like the way you followed through on your wrist. So it is a verbal praise also, and then we are letting him know what he has done also. Now schedules and timing of reinforcement. This is very important, because if we continuously use reinforcement, that can be best used for learning new skills. Because when we are learning new skills, there is a difficulty phase, because we are learning a new concept. So constant continuous reinforcement will help an athlete there. But when we are increasing the well-learned skills, we are practicing it, then intermittent reinforcement is needed. Reinforcement is occasional, which builds persistence. Partial reinforcement leads to longer lasting behaviors than continuous reinforcement. Rewarding efforts, not just outcome. This is one of the major aspects in sports psychology. The effort should be rewarded, not the outcome. Efforts, process, performance is the main thing. Effort-based feedback like good try improves performance and persistence. Children praised for effort show greater motivation than those praised for ability. Example, legendary coach John Wooden emphasized effort over winning, stating, "The only way for your head to be up is knowing you did your best." Punishment, when and how to use it. Punishment should only make 10 to 20% of your feedback, with 80 to 90% being positive in nature. Can be effective when used correctly, but should not be primary motivator for an athlete. Must be fair, consistent and explained to avoid resentment. Because if we continuously punish an athlete, then he may also go into anxiety, then he may also go into stress, and he may not realize what he is doing wrong.